Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, this is the third game of a three-game slate today in the KFC U18 Elite Cup competition. Waterhouse will be taking on Harbour in the last game of the day. Both teams come into this brimming with confidence. Waterhouse, of course, winning their last outing 1-0 against Montego United thanks to goal from new signing Jamon Lyle, while Harbour coming off the back of 2 straight victories in their opening games. But of course they'd lose most recently to Mount Pleasant last week in a repeat of last year's final. They'll be hoping to get back on the winning track in this game. And there's the number 7, Jamon Lyle. Of course, as I mentioned before, did score the winner last week against Montego Bay United. Wonderful finish pass on an onrushing Najani player. He's currently the number 23, the latest addition for the senior team, Waterhouse that is. And there for Harbour is their lineup. Number 23, Jishan, Lyle's teammate at the national level. Both of them were most recently in the Jamaican national team, which just qualified for the Under-17 World Cup, which is supposed to take place in Qatar later this year. As I mentioned before, ladies and gentlemen, this is a tasty one. Both teams could end up on 6 points at the end of the game if this plays out in Waterhouse's favour. But if that is to happen, players like Kamar Reed, who has been in spurts pretty good for Waterhouse, as well as new signing Jamon Lyle, they're both going to have to be at their best. But it's not just them on the show today. We have Tahir Harnett in goal to Sam Richards, Shamar Watt, Garrett Taylor, Howard Linton, Sean Churchard, Lick Drummond in the number 10, Hakeem Kem Ewan, Dimitri Robinson in number 9. And that should run up the starting lineup. And there's Drummond, loses the ball in the middle of the park. best player of the tournament last year in this competition. Without a doubt, brilliant on the ball for a defender, but also unbeatable 1v1. Crucial to the young Reggae Boys' success most recently. As I just mentioned before, the lineup for Waterhouse. Here's the lineup for Harbour View: Deshaun Edwards, Gianni Collins, Justin Bethune, Jelani Harvey, Peyton Larman, who also features in the Jamaican Premier League for Harbour View's senior team, Kajay Fletcher, Tiquan Underhill, Joel Ajani French, who scored the winner a couple of weeks ago in their game against Portmore United. Kevin Price in goal today in the place of Daquan Jemison. He has also Kareem Emmanuel and Andre Ellis. And here's Fletcher on this left-hand side, still going, but eventually stopped in his tracks there. Well done by Richards. Robinson couldn't quite play it into the path there of his teammate, and that will go all the way through to goalkeeper there for Harbour View on the day, Kevin Price. Clyde Giardini, coach for Harbour View, has of course at times lamented the fact that some of the players that he wants to be available aren't going to quite be available this year, such as Kelvin Brown, I should say, as well as Tyreek Robinson, one of these standout players from last year's tournament, but still has a few players from last year, including Peyton Larman, as well as Zaire Dawes, who was sensational 2 weeks ago. He was sensational again, providing a beautiful assist for Kajay Fletcher. Not the best of passes there, and they will go out for a throw in to Harbour View, or to Waterhouse, I should say. Just leaving it here for his teammate Linton, whose pass goes all the way through, and Kevin Price will gladly take that one in his clutches. Kick for Harbour View. Harbour View, as I mentioned before, playing their fourth game in the tournament so far, and despite their loss in a repeat of the final against Mount Pleasant last year, last week's defeat will serve as a reminder that while they are one of the best teams in this competition, they still have work to be done. They come out here looking for a win, and that's cleared by Let Drummond. same effort that goes all the way through to Price. Just play of that opportunity there. The greatest finish in the world by any means. Robinson, of course, yet to get off the mark thus far, the number 9. Waterhouse, of course, starting from this season for the majority of the games, they will be hoping that he can get some goals for them. The ball at the top there, looking for Jamon Lyle, who flicks it to his teammate there. And number 8, lovely cross coming over to Robinson, and the header easily saved by Price. Just replay there. Lovely cross coming in there from Adonijah Burford, who I forgot to mention in the starting lineup. My apologies. Edwards. Fletcher is available, playing a bit deeper than we're used to seeing him. Seems to have taken a free roll. Johnny French also necessarily in the middle. This time he's playing out on the right hand side. Perhaps will at times switch places with Tikon on the hill. Not a regular starter, but been given a chance today. press by Harbour View, by Waterhouse, I should say. That will be a foul to Waterhouse. It's a free kick to be taken for Waterhouse here. Seems to be taken by Churcher. Unusual to have their defender take it rather than Drummond or Lyle, but I'll be hoping the delivery is optimal quality. Ball comes in here towards Linton, but goes all the way through, and referee indicates that it will be a goal kick to Harbour View. Now his Lyle in space has a goal from distance, and that will go wide. Harbour View, as I mentioned before, not as fluid as they want to be in position, and they lost the ball here, as you can see in the replay. And Jamon Lyle had space, trying to get his second competition. It'll be back-to-back weeks he'd have scored, of course, last year. He played for KFA, and despite not really playing a lot of games, did get a couple of goals, and would have been hoping to better his tally from last year on that occasion. Here's Lyle again. And Lyle on the ball again, surging forward from the middle of the park, and loses it, but he wins a throw-in for his team. Number 10 for Waterhouse. Why can't be too passive? You want your number 10 to take responsibility, be more aggressive, take players on, have a bit of audacity to them, a bit of personality to them. And a couple of games that I've watched here thus far, he's not quite displayed that as yet. Waterhouse would want him to break up his shell and display more so far. Ball to come in from Lyle. Corner comes in. Good delivery towards the back post, and it's headed on into the danger area. And he span and shot, and the ball came across for Churcher, who failed to control it, and somehow the referees pointed to a corner kick. I thought that came off Churcher, but the referee says otherwise, and that will be a corner to Harbour View. And rightfully, he has indicated via some help from the linesman that it is indeed a goal kick to Harbour View. Edwards, French coming deep to help his team, but proving to be a detriment with that pass. Yuan trying to find Robinson, but the pass intercepted by Edwards. He goes all the way back. There's Kareem on the hill. Kareem Emmanuel, I should say. And Harbour View. As mentioned before, not quite able really to establish any sort of fluidity in their passing game thus far. Of course, as mentioned before, he's taken on the hill, wins the ball back. Still without players, but still wanting to live in this. There's a ball coming across the Hawks. No one able to beat it. That will go all the way through for a goal kick. Almost engineered an opportunity there from a mistake at the back by Waterhouse, but couldn't quite capitalize. Wins the ball back and has a shot saved. But as we look at this replay here, it's clear to see that that was always going to be called back. Finally starting to apply some pressure in the middle of the park, making it hard for Harbour to pass out. But yet again, they run it now. It's Howard Linton splitting in the middle of the park, finding Drummond, controls, and the pass going straight. Yet again, that will be a goal, a throw in to Harbour after some pretty woeful build-up play from Waterhouse. Fletcher unable to beat his man there, and in the process gives away a foul. Drummond. Seems to be someone else on the ground. Waterhouse's medical staff will have to go there pretty urgently just to rectify the situation. They're just giving the number 13 there, showing what some instructions. He was down back to his feet. Okay. French here, he's down the right hand side, he's through, cuts inside, turns back and finds a teammate here, and the cross comes in, but cross from Collins didn't have the requisite accuracy, and that will go out for a goal kick to Waterhouse there. Arnott has no threat to his goal on that occasion. provide some assistance. There's Dawson again, just giving out some instructions to his Waterhouse team. Resumes here with Watt, trying to find you one all the way through to our prediction team. Be glad to take home a ball, of course. The attacker, and Waterhouse can come out of their own half now with back to Garrick Taylor. Strings a pass out wide, trying to find Churcher, and unable to get around Johnny French, who was doing his defensive duties on that occasion. That will be a goal kick to Harbour View. They were Harbour. They still retain position here with Larman. Edwards. Calm and composed on the ball as ever, evading his compatriot there. And Churcher almost into his stance there. Harbour View with the throw-in. Bethune. Edwards. Bethune again. Trying to play it up wide to Fletcher, unable to. Churcher breaks that one up. Now here's J. Fletcher again on the ball. Gets it out wide. Here's French. Beating like Drummond. Cuts inside and loses it. Richards. Defending pretty well at the back here. And Bethune getting his goalkeeper into some trouble, but thankfully had enough strength to shove his opposing player there off the ball at Elijah Burford. It was venturing forward from defense and still has possession. Eventually ran out of room, and that will be a throw-in to Harbour View, well, to Waterhouse rather. his teammate there, number 12, Richards. It's Churcher. Trying to find you one, I suppose, but that's cut out by Larman. Collins. Edwards. Let Drummond judged to have fouled Larman there. I mean, I said Drummond needs to play with more aggressiveness. That's not the sort of aggressiveness I meant. Not the best of challenges there, but wasn't as dangerous as I assumed on second watch. Ball comes in for Harvey, who's way up from his usual position on the pitch. But now here's Bethune. Larman taking off his defender's foot there. Ellis trying to go from distance, but unable to generate any sort of connection with it. Bethune out wide. And Emmanuel, well, Ellis, I should say, on the left-hand side, out wide to French. Has a goal from distance, and what a save by Tahir Harnett. Got down low to his near post and kept that one out. French looks certain to open the scoring here for Harbour View at home. We just saw that replay. It looked like most definitely it was going to be a goal, but kept that one off. Kept that one out of the net brilliantly. Harnett. Harvey to Andre Ellis. Ellis gets it back from French. Now it's Jay Fletcher. Take on Underwood. Underhill, I should say, my bad. Now here's Ellis. Not the best of passes, and that's cut out. And that's a lovely ball all the way through. Jamone Lyles 1v1 with Tristan Bethune now. Help arriving in the box. Has a few to his right. He finds Dimitri Robinson. It goes all the way through, but he has Linton in support. Linton cuts back. Churchers fouled there by French, and now Waterhouse have a free kick in a dangerous position. Just about 10 minutes to go in this one. It was possible at a time. Waterhouse have done brilliantly here to still be nil all. Lyle had a chance here to generate some sort of a chance for his team and a good cross, but teammates not quite able to be in the same wavelength. They do have a free kick here. It seems Howard Linton, their captain, will be the one to take this set piece. Goes for goal, it seems, but he struck the wall. Cross this time, headed on by Drummond, and that goes wide. As we approach the half-time interval, pretty shortly, in the next 8 minutes, we'll see few and far between clear-cut chances in this one. So Underhill tries to put him under pressure. Pass wide to Lyle. Done well, but now it's Lyle taking on his players, beating them. Cross comes in and defended well as usual by Jashawn Edwards. Lyle spinning, turning, beating his defenders for fun. Corner to come in now from Lyle. Lovely corner. No one able to rise high enough to beat it, however. Linton, after a couple of feints, decides to regain possession. Adonijah Burford, perhaps wisely, lets it go through for a throw into Waterhouse after it took a deflection of Kareem Emmanuel. And here's Churchill with a cross, which was an awkward height for Price, but done well there. Now his French racing forward down that left hand side, and with two players in his way, decides to cut back for Captain Pinman. Back out to French on that left hand side now. Take on Underhill, moving inside now to get some space. French trying to cut inside. Great tackle there by Son Richards, who's been brilliant. Now he's French. That's cleared by Churchill. Himself has had quite the game, throwing his body on the line at times. Made its way to a jersey in yellow, but that's gone all the way through to take one on the hill.
So here with Taishan,
offside decision.
What do you think of this game being played today?
And seems to be.
So what do you think about Waterhouse number 7?
Johnny French was the player down here in Harbour View.
And Harbour View number 9. Okay, so what's your match prediction for this game?
And of
Alright,
course,
see you guys.
bringing to you live coverage here on MG Sports. You will get the most beautiful shots anywhere across the YouTube platform in terms of live broadcasting of games.
Yeah.
No better place to come for live coverage of the youth football scene. I must say, despite the fact that it's not been the most exciting of games thus far, I have to commend the performances thus far of Son Richards. It's been absolutely excellent at the back for Waterhouse thus far. Joel Johnny French is a tough customer, but he's been equal to the task thus far. He knows that Johnny wants to cut inside onto his favourite right foot, and has dealt well with that threat thus far. And equally as impressive has been Jamon Lyle in spurts, not yet able to register a goal or assist. Given how he's been playing so far, it perhaps is coming. Linton. Oh, lovely pass, trying to find Yuan. Can he keep it in play? No, we can't. Perhaps he'd been a bit taller and had a bit more reach. Might have been able to get that in, keep that in. That was fantastic, really, by Linton. It seems Waterhouse are employing a back free here. Churchill, Yuan, operating almost as fullbacks, really. Bruce in there to Collins, all the way back to Linton. Churchill just beginning to convert. 5-2 is beginning to take shape for Waterhouse. Churchill coming in field. Drifting out wide now is Lyle. My bad, not Lyle. it seems brought to the ground there is Churchill for a fall for Waterhouse, as we just observe this scene with their beautiful shot of the stadium. Lovely overhead view of Harbour View Stadium here. You won't find better shots than this in the Jamaican football scene, ladies and gentlemen. MG Sports. There we have a free kick for you, and it will be Lyle to take this one. Comes in, and with the power that he generated on that, I would not have been surprised had it ended up in the back of the net. Beautiful. Unfortunately, didn't arrow into that top corner as he had expected. Observe that replay there from a free kick from Lyle. Will be counting their lucky stars that they're not behind after what was a pretty dangerous effort from the star man there in the number 7. Edwards clears this downfield. Loses out on that header. Actually lost out of the air there. Ball played over the top to French, and the shot goes wide. By Larman, Harvey loses out to Linton. Now it's Churchill. Spins, turns. Finds the right pass. Asking controlled it, but eventually lost the ball to Kajay Fletcher. But wide to Fletcher. He loses the ball there. Drummond into Lyle. He finds Ewan in space, can cross it now, and that's cleared by Gianni Collins. That will be a corner kick to Waterhouse, which is taken quickly now. Lyle has it, crosses, looking for Linton, but couldn't connect with it. That's cleared by Harbour View. Church trying to win it back. Here's Richards, shoved off it. Clear now. Here's Kareem. Ball comes in here. Fletcher loses out there. Emmanuel yet to get into this game, and it's just need to sort himself a bit. Here's Linton. Robinson. Trying to get that out. That switch of play to find it. There's French. And that will be the end of the first half in the last game of 3 today in the KFC Under 18 Elite Cup. Harbour View 0, Waterhouse 0. That's the scoreline, and we'll be back after the break. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, this is the last game for the day in the KFC Under-18 League Cup. I've been your commentator, John Stewart, and it's been a pleasure so far. Waterhouse level with host Harbour View at the break, 0-0. No goals as yet, but a whole 40 minutes to go in this encounter. In what has to this point been a rather dull affair, but plenty of excitement in the first two games. A scuffle, a comedic own goal, a hat-trick, plenty of moments of brilliance on show as well. And of course, if you want to see all that unfold, you can of course always head on to the MG Sports page and you can see the live streams of the games that were played today between first and foremost as the second half gets underway here. KFA versus Portmore as they won 3-1 thanks to a hat-trick from Dominic Clark, as well as a 2-0 defeat for 10 men Montego United, losing to Ballers Academy, who secured their first win of the competition. Looking for a teammate here, unable to find the head. French there, and they'll go out for a goal kick. Production. It's Churchill. Linton to Churchill, who escapes. Ellis, ball off the top, looking for Dimitri Robinson, but beaten to it by Tristan Bethune, who was unable to keep that in play, and that will be a throw-in for Waterhouse. A bit of fighting there about whose ball it is there, but eventually it does go to the decision the way of Waterhouse, but from the resulting throw, not much made of it. It does seem that at the break, Jian Singh, who's usually the number 2 goalkeeper, has come on in place of Kevin Price, who thought in Singh's absence did quite well. Didn't have much to do, but when he was called upon, did do his job. Waterhouse, I should say, coming forward with the Jamon Lyle. Of course, last week's lone goal scorer in their win against Montego Bay United. Lovely bit of footwork there to skip past his man, Garrick Taylor. And the pass there from Ewan blocked. And Waterhouse lose the ball in the middle of the park here, and Harbour View can come forward. They stick one on the hill. There's room in the middle of the park, and held off there. And lovely use of the hands to shield the ball there by Churchill. He's been pretty good today. And Dimitri Robinson wins the ball of Justin Bethune. Cross comes in, and a shot, and it's blocked from Bethune. Adonijah Burford not able to quite get the paw he wanted on that, and that was blocked brilliantly by Bethune after mistake. The ball goes all the way through to Churchill and keeps it in play, and cleared by Andre Ellis, and that will be a throw in to Waterhouse in a pretty dangerous area here, deep in enemy territory. Here's Richards. Shoved in the back there, but the referee says no foul, and it'll be a throw into Harbour View on the touchline there. Lovely throw, accurate. And there, here's Taquan Underhill. Ball comes across and almost headed into his own goal there. Joel French looks certain to hit that home, if not for a clearance there by Waterhouse. And Peyton Lorman will be taking this corner kick. Corner comes in, and that's headed away by Churchill. Counter-attack for Waterhouse here looked pretty dangerous, but there's like German trying to get on there like that. But there's Jamon Lyle fighting his way through the middle of the park, and he does so, retains position. Yuan with a cross and makes its way to Adam Nigel Burford. Does well to turn there, and the shot almost turned home by Yuan, who was racing forward at the back post, unable to get a connection with it. And there we have a replay. Burford, what a turn to beat Ellis, and arriving at the back post late was Yuan, unable to tap that home for the opening goal here to break the deadlock. Waterhouse have possession again. Yuan to Burford. Races forward, trying to beat that lanky man at the back, Kevon Brown, who's just come onto the pitch. Unable to, however, but Harbour View, Waterhouse, I should say, do, however, have a throw. Now is Lyle spinning, turning. Goes away eventually. Ball comes in, and Singh does well to claim that. Ball comes over to Church, and he's unable to get onto it. Waterhouse play the ball back up the field and go all the way through, however, to Singh. here for Harbour View. Peyton Larman will take. Ball comes in. Beautiful delivery. Nice take on Underhill. Switches feet and trying to get it out from under his feet. Lovely ball at the top here. Waterhouse have a counter attack with their number 3 Bradnock, who's come onto the pitch but loses position, but now it's Howard Linton. And the ball comes from Burford. Linton can cross, and that's headed away by Bethune. Linton has another opportunity here to cross, and he's fouled in the process. And as we get ready for this set piece from Waterhouse, just important to remind folks as we see this replay of the fall there on Linton that this is a competition same as last year where both teams will play each other twice. Each team will play each other twice in this competition. Of course, the difference this year being that there are 7 teams instead of 6. Ball comes in here from Churchill towards the back post, no one able to meet it. And Jamon Lyle has the ball now, has Jelani Harvey to beat, and instead passes it. Here's Yuan, has a strike from distance, but won't really trouble Singh from there. Not the best of clearances from Singh. And Reem Emmanuel, his header wasn't the best either, but now here's Yuan. Cross comes in, doesn't really have a teammate to look for, but now he's French. He's alone with Garrick Taylor, who does well there to clear his lines. But as I mentioned before, each team will play their opponent twice in this competition. As I mentioned, with the difference, the caveat, of course, being there are 7 teams this time instead of 6. Of course, Cavalier dropped out, and at the end of the season, out of the 7 teams, 4 will move on to the semi-final, where, of course, they'll play each other in the playoffs, and that will decide after a semi-final and final who's the winner of the overall competition. Larman to take this free kick. Ball comes into the back post and headed on. And it seems to be awarded a goal kick. There were protests of maybe a potential corner as we observe this replay here. Good free kick from Larman. Quite beautiful actually. But header not able to be directed goalward. If you need reminding, Mount Pleasant won last year's competition after beating Cavalier in the semi-final and then dispatching of Harbour View just as they did last week in the final last year. Pretty convincingly, I must admit. I must say, it was an amazing competition. Competition still in its infancy, but already has been a huge success. Of course, it is the cup bred with the intent of developing the youngsters of Jamaica, and it's done just that, giving them a platform to succeed, whether it be in the Jamaican Premier League or moving overseas. Last year's top goal scorer, Cleveland Nugent, not here this year, and arguably my player of the tournament, Miguel Joseph, not here this year either. A number of players will be absent from last year's competition. Lovely takedown from Harbour. Was a mainstay in Harbour's team last year, and if you can remember, for much of last season, Zaire Dowse was the captain. Then towards the end of the campaign, due to some disciplinary issues, Larman was made captain and really assumed that role really well. Led by example, not really the most vocal of players, but you can see his maturity speaks for itself, especially given the fact that he's been allowed to play for the senior team in the Jamaican Premier League. But now he's Jamon Lyle, another player who could feature for his senior team. pretty soon. Jamon Lyle. Now it's Linton. Churchill. Back to Lyle. Tries to find Churchill. But Tristan Bethune does well there to guide that to his goalkeeper, Singh. He clears downfield, and that will be easy for Harnett to claim. Adonijah Burford looking over for Churchill, who takes that down really well, but late decision by the referee to award that a free kick in the direction of Waterhouse. Burford brought down, and his reaction, I must say, a bit delayed. Too delayed for my liking, but nevertheless it is a foul. And Lyle getting ready to take this, and of course, given that he's a right footer, the most likely option is that he's going to go for goal from here. Perhaps try to bend this into the opposite corner here, left hand side. A number of options he could decide to take on this set piece, and with this four-man wall, they'll be hoping to protect their goalkeeper, who's of course not the greatest of stature, even for a goalkeeper. Now he'll be taking this with his left and switches over. Perhaps just trying to confuse the defense here as to what he'll be doing. He has Church on the edge of the box. A number of options for the young player here. Under 17 representative. Cross it is for Church, and a shot that is, I was going to say easily saved by Singh, but he actually spilled it there. Not the best in terms of handling, but nevertheless, Harbour View can come clear here. French leaves it. Harbour View clear here. Trying to get a shot was Tequan on the hill, but deflected all the way through for a easy catch for the young man in goal for Waterhouse, Tahir Harnett. And ball over the top again. Garrick Taylor doing his defensive duties. Harvey to Larman, and shot from distance there by Kareem Emmanuel. Pretty tame in nature, however. Churchill has been all over the pitch in this one. Poor pass there by Taylor. He's giving it away to Kareem Emmanuel and surrendered a foul. Linton in the process. Not the best of passes there from Taylor. And there we have the replay of the free kick. Lyle, as suspected, leaving it for Church on the edge of the box, who couldn't quite get the power he perhaps wanted on that one. And I suspect that, given the fact that he didn't do well with that shot that was pretty tame, had he just put some more power on that, could have been the opening goal here in this encounter. 58 minutes in, 59 minutes in, I should say. Payton in, and just get it around the wall, but didn't get it on target. And as you can see from this replay here, it does seem the wall shifted at the last moment. And had that ended up in a goal, I have no doubt that would have ended in a goal. And Churchill complaining to the referee here about that decision. To be fair to Churchill, he was played under pressure there by that hospital pass there by Richards. Here's Burford, skips away from his man there. Long pass to Lyle. Still has the ball. Cross comes in, and that's deflected. Not able to get through the bodies, and that will go all the way through to Jian Singh. Harbour View yet again losing the ball in their own half. Here's Lyle. Bradnock finding man wide. Here's Churchill. Cross comes in. No one there in the box. Shot from distance from Lyle, but the less said about that, the better. Return pass, racing clear through the middle of the park, and perhaps rightfully so, that will be a yellow card to Howard Linton, the skipper for Waterhouse. Good touch there by Fletcher to get past Churchill. Got the return pass, and Linton decided he had to bring him down before he could do any more damage. But if you have a free kick here, which seems Peyton Norman will be the one to take, get this up wide to Andre Ellis for a cross potentially. Strike from distance. Probably carried that a bit. In the event, sailed over the bar and was a far distance away. Went with power instead of accuracy. Let's pay the price for that. Best of passes there put Linton under some pressure. But he's dealt well with it, but Waterhouse not out of the woods yet. Now here's KJ Fletcher down the left hand side, and after being double teamed on that left hand side, eventually loses the ball there. That will be a corner kick to Harbour View, thanks to that good bit of defending there. Right there, number 12, Toussaint Richards. Larman, ball comes in, unable to beat the first man, however. Now here's Lyle. Throw into Harbour View. Andre Ellis, a bit of a shove there on now. Just playing a bit of gamesmanship. Ball into Fletcher's feet. Loses it to Linton. Back to Lyle. Burford has UN in support, wants not to use it, tries to find Linton on field. In the effort to stretch his leg and get to that one and clear it out with touch. It will be an injury here, it seems, perhaps on a hamstring issue for Andre Ellis. trying to repeat the success KFA had earlier today in terms of not necessarily having a stronger squad, but still securing the result you want, which is all 3 points. So far, unable to do that, but of course, just about 15 minutes plus some added time to go. We still have a chance to do just that. The key players from this game thus far, I have to say, I guess you'd have to look at some of the defenders on show today. Derek Taylor's had a few mishaps here and there, but he and Toussaint Richards at the back for Waterhouse have been stellar. Coming under some pressure in the second half from the Harbour attack, but they've withstood their tests thus far. And they'll be hoping they can do the same for the rest of the game. But now here's Waterhouse on the attack. Richards gets the ball into Burford. Turn from Churchill to Lyle, skips into the penalty area, and it's a good cross, trying to find Bradnock, but Singh does well to get to that ahead of Bradnock. Andrew Barrett has come onto the pitch for Waterhouse, and here we have the replay of that chance. Lovely turn by Churchill, finds Lyle in the box, and his cross is put into a dangerous area. Almost found his teammate there, but Jian Singh doing his job there in goal. Looking for teammate downfield. He does find French, and that's a lovely pass into the path of Take One on the hill. On the right hand side, he skips past Yuan and good at crossing. And that's blocked for a corner kick to Harbourview. It seems 2 players for Harbourview getting ready to come on as we observe this chance for a cross for on the hill. Harbourview looking for some goals here, not just from the substitutes, but from this corner. Can they do something? Corner comes in, hit it away. That will be handball by Bradnock. Taken by Lawman here. Chips this one instead. That's headed away by. Ooh, that's a dangerous tackle. And the referee just waiting to. I don't think he's going to award a penalty here for that challenge by Richards. It seems instead he's just going to get some treatment for the Harbourview player that is down. Player that is down seems to be Take One on the hill. Could argue that it perhaps should be a penalty. Well, I don't think that will be the decision made here by the referee. I must say, it would put quite a dent in Harbourview's hopes of returning to win well, not Harbourview's hopes, Waterhouse's hopes of continuing that win streak. Harbourview, of course, as mentioned before, looking to get back to winning ways after a loss last time out to Mount Pleasant, a game which I think they gave their best effort. They were at times really good in that game, but of course at this point in this season it's all really about getting the 3 points. But here's Yuan on the left hand side, cross cuts across but blocked for a corner kick. If you remember last year, Harbourview did beat Mount Pleasant in their first game of the league portion of the season. Of course, it's a home and away structure. 1-5-1, but they lost eventually in the final. So it matters. It's the playoffs. Ball comes in, and that's hit away by Underhill. Bradnock had a chance to have a swing at it, decided not to, but lovely bit of control by Lyle. Lovely. Linton. Retains position. Sam Richards somehow managed to keep position. Linton gets it all the way through to the goalkeeper, but poor pass, and Fletcher has it. Has his head down, unable to see his teammates, but nonetheless, foul is awarded to Harbourview after Fletcher is brought down there in the middle of the park. They just have the replay of that free kick. Larman, free kick comes in, headed away by Richards. There's Lyle. Skips away from Karima. And that's a poor touch there from Churchill. And that will be a throw in to Harbourview, who will take it quickly. Trying to get in front here late into the game. 8 minutes to go, and that throw in has resulted in a goal kick for Waterhouse. Richards will be making the way. Rather surprisingly, I must add, it's been a standout performer today, and he'll be replaced by Shaheem Stevenson. And Stevenson gets his first touch of the game since coming on. Trying to play it to Lyle, who seemed uninterested in an aerial duel with Jelani Harvey there, perhaps wisely, given his stature. Linton, Stevenson. Ball played there into the number 21 there, Jamar Thomas, who's also in his way on the pitch. Out there to Stevenson. Bradnock leaves it for Stevenson, trying to thread the needle there to find perfect, but Jian Singh is on hand to sweep up that one. No danger to Harbourview's goal. Lovely touch there by Ewan, just to take that away from Taquan Underhill, and it'll go all the way through to Harnett in goal. Stevenson. That take a touch off Lorman for a throw into Waterhouse. Lyle headed on to Linton. Down that right hand side, couldn't get past Johnny Harvey, unable to. He gets a touch on it, however, to Jamar Thomas, but cleared just in time by Kareem Emmanuel. And now it's Linton again. Leaves it for Lyle. Trying to feed a teammate there, and he does find him. Yuan gets it, but couldn't make connection the first time. And the referee has blown his whistle, and it seems that the linesman had his flag up there for offside. I must say, had the offside not gone up, you'd be right to question Yuan there, but look at the replay there. He had a chance to hit that first time into the net after a brilliant cross from Jamon Lyle. Unable to find Kajay Fletch on that occasion, but Lyle needs to go back. Pass. This is straight. Radnick all alone up front for Waterhouse. A bit of an unorthodox tactical decision. Miss Jian Singh. Under some pressure here. Waterhouse being urged to press from the front. Not able to generate the pressure on the Harbourview backline that they want. Larman trying to get it out wide to Kajay Fletcher. Trying to shove Stevenson off it. Eventually it will be a corner kick to Harbourview. But here's a shot from Larmond. What a save by Tahir Harnett. One of the saves of the day, really. From a similar angle to which we saw Sean Arena score earlier today for Portmore United. And here's Larmond just inside the box, forcing an outstretched save there out of Tahir Harnett. Great save. Larmond's cross comes in the box and headed over by Howard Linton for what seemed to be a corner, and yet the referee says no, that will be a free kick actually, as you can see following that collision on the replay. And Howard Linton's judged to have been fouled, and that will be a free kick to Waterhouse. Just about 2 minutes to go in this one. It was possible at a time, I must say. Will be, perhaps, unless a goal comes here in the dying moments of the game, the first 0-0 draw of this campaign thus far between any team. Linton trying to squeeze that through for Bradnock, but Singh gets there ahead of him. Diminutive shot stopper. Ooh, loses the ball in a dangerous area here. The worst position to lose it. Trying to feed French, but the final pass not good enough. But Harbourview still have possession, and inexplicably decides to go for goal from there. What was he thinking on that occasion? Had options on the hill. Did well to get the ball there, but pass not the required level. Head there, but it's fouled, and that's taken quickly by Harbourview. Still retains possession here, squeezes it through, trying to find French. It does. He has a ball, but frustration kicks the gate as he ran out of room there. Touch just took him out of play. But it was a good surge forward there. Linton into the path of Burford. Back to Linton. Can get here ahead of Bethune. Yes, he does. Has Burford to his left. Decides to use him. There's Shamar Watt. But Paul plays called back for a foul. It's a foul to Harbour View. We're into added time, folks. The game could be called off at any minute, but still remains to be seen whether we can get a winner or not. And here's Joel Johnny Fringe trying to take on Taylor. His cross is cleared by Shamar Watt, and that will go out for a corner kick to Harbour View. This corner could be the last kick of the game. Ball goes towards the back post. Unable to head that was Kevon Brown at the back post. But now here's Underhill. Brown plays a pass to Fletcher. But now here's a shot from distance, but unable to get the power on it that he wanted, and that will go all the way through quite easily for Taylor Harnett. Brilliant tackle. Harbour View out of danger. Shot there on target, but never really troubling Harnett in goal. Yuan still on the ball. Knocked off it, and rightfully so, the referee does indicate for a foul. Linton. Stevenson. Looking in the box for someone to pick out. And the header from Taylor. Shot from distance from Yuan, but wayward. And as we approach 3 minutes into added time here, still searching both teams for that elusive goal to decide this game. As we see the replay there a while ago. Here's Larman out wide now for Underhill again, who's at times been sensational in spurts. Trying to take on his man here, gets past Watt, leaves it for Fringe, back to, Harbour View somehow denied the death, and the referee's blown his whistle. Somehow, some way, Waterhouse retain their clean sheet, and look what it means to their goalkeeper, the man in goal, Tahir Harnett, the man to thank after this save in the dying moments of this match. Point blank range, you'd have bet your house, your car, your life savings on that being a goal, but somehow, some way it was denied, and the score reads at full time, Harbour View 0, Waterhouse 0. That, of course, folks, brings us to the end of the 3-game slate that we had for you today. Between, first and foremost, KFA and Port Morris. KFA won 3-1 thanks to a hat trick from Dominic Clark. Of course, his second game was a 2-0 win for Ballers Academy over Montego United, who went a man down thanks to a red card to Tyree Scott. And in the final game we have for you here today, Waterhouse drew 0-0 with Harbour View. I've been John Stewart, your commentator. Thanks for joining us. It's been MG Sports.